Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we'd love to get you excited about whatever you want to be excited about. And if you're a gardener or not yet and you're hoping to be a gardener, because, I mean, it's so neat to be exposed to nature and plants and things. And if you've been just afraid you're going to fail, we want to get you over that hump and just get out there and enjoy it, because it's relaxing, don't you think? It's fun.
It's not. And boy, the weather, at least where we are, is warming up a tiny bit. Unfortunately, the folks on the East Coast are under about 7 feet of snow right now.
I know.
But having said that, yeah, let's talk about some garden stuff.
Yeah.
It'll give you hope for the future.
Hope, because, I mean, you having grown up in the Chicago area, you know how that feels. You kind of get ants in your pants. You want to.
By about April, you can go outside.
Yeah. So let's talk about some things that will kind of get you excited about upgrading your yard, your side yard, your backyard for spring. And this is something that's so easy to do. It's basically upcycling cans, like cans of soup or tomatoes or whatever you have, and they become little DIY lantern lights by drilling into the sides of these cans
to create little patterns.
Yeah.
And then the candle becomes the illumination part of this lamp, and then you see the holes through the lamp, and that creates a pattern.
And the idea is, I mean, really tool wise, we can just use a hammer and a nail, and you're now just hammering into these tin cans, right?
And you could also use a drill bit on a cordless drill easily, and it would drill through that like butter. So that might be a little bit faster.
Okay, good idea.
Just wear safety glasses when you do it.
Good. And then you would just get some little twisty hooks so that you can now hang them up, and you get some motives. And
you can do baling wire or a little more slightly rigid wire, and then drill a hole on either side of the top of the can to hold it on some sort of a hanging device, either a hook or a tree branch. Put your candle in there, or your electric LED one, your battery-operated one. By the way, you have this amazing candle that I saw today, which has a faux flame that is made out of, it literally flickers, but it's like a physical flame that's a piece of reflective material. It fooled me. I thought it was a real fire. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty interesting, and it's all battery operated. But there's so many great solutions for lighting out there that you don't need to rewire everything, And this now takes it to that level where you can use your battery operated, your timer battery operated votives, and have them flickering. But then when you put them in these hanging cans that you're recycling, and don't forget, after you've done the holes, you've poked through or you've drilled through and you've done the hooky thing, spray paint them at the end, because now it's going to look really decorative and fun, whatever colors you like.
Boy, and they have some great new spray paints that are either gold, silver,
Metals.
bronze, and metal colors. Beautiful stuff.
Very, very fun.
Easy to do.
This could be a good kid project, too, where everyone has their can, and then you would hang them, and then everyone could say, well, that was my contribution.
You could write your name in the holes.
Isn't that nice?
It's like what was that one with the little pinholes? I think it was sort of like Etch-a-Sketch or something. Anyway.
The Light Bright thing?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Light Bright.
Yeah, that's what I did, where you poke the little plastic guys.
That's right.
But the Etch-a-Sketch, same thing, where you're being creative.
Right.
In fact, you know what? A friend of mine who is a counselor, psychologist, said that now kids are not being creative because we're so overstimulated by our cell phones.
Sure.
And stuff, so that
it's all there for you.
It's shutting down your brain. And how we need to get bored, because when you're bored, then that forces creative stimulation.
That's a really good point.
And so this could be a good family project where everyone's going to be bored and everyone's going to roll their eyes and go, I don't want to. But then you're going to be loving it.
Yes.
And you're going to be getting that creative juice going.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Here's another fun one. How about flowers hanging in a tree? The idea is that you're going to come up with some small glass jars that you might still have around the house. You could be recycling the glass jars, or you already have some mason jars, and you have a little bit of rope or yarn, and then some flowers, and that's it. And so now you basically put the jar in the circle where you're going to pull both tails of the rope around the top, the lip, so now it'll basically stay secured to that top part, and you can hook it and hang it, let's say, over a tree branch or something.
Yeah, and that can have a little tiny dish of water in it, and then fresh cut flowers. That's pretty.
Isn't that cute?
Sure is.
Or you can put an air plant in there.
There you go. Yeah, you know what else is cool? You can make a sandbox.
Now tell us about this.
So this is kind of easy to do. It's just 1x12s that you can cut into like 4-foot lengths. Make a square and then nail that together, and then you put a little bottom of plywood underneath, right? And then you can actually put casters on the bottom so that, this thing can roll, big industrial casters, right? So if you're in an area where you want to move that sandbox around, then it's easy to move, and it's not so heavy with play sand that it's difficult to move. Now, the one thing I will say, whenever you do sandboxes, you should have a lid, because otherwise cats and raccoons use it as a restroom, right?
Ooh.
So you definitely want to put a lid over it, and you can actually use some of the offcut of the plywood that you had for the bottom to just place over the top, or a piece of plastic sheeting, but something to keep it from cats showing up there. But then it makes a nice little contained play area.
And that could be also, if not just for kids, it could almost be like a little mini beach where you could set up, like, if you have one of those little chimeneas, or a little place, a little backfire fire pit.
That's true.
You could almost make it seem
wheel it around
like you're sitting in the beach and you're having your s'mores in the backyard.
There you go. That's a nice idea.
Kind of a fun idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a lot of different things you can do that are going to turn your backyard into something that's going to be a little prettier in a pretty inexpensive and pretty easy way. Now, here's something, because you never have enough place to put a little glass, or maybe it's a vase and a decorative thing, and you want to have a little side table, because now you have your seating area, but you want more. You want to turn that area into a place where now you can, everyone gets cozy and can hang out. What about making your own little side table by using some of these, like a piece of wood, and then some kind of a concrete or cement base that you just put the wood on top of, and maybe in the wood you carve out a hole so that you can maybe put some kind of flowers or a planter inside. It's a molded planter, if you will.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Now they sell these things called sonotubes, and they're used for footings for construction, so that a deck doesn't sink into the ground, for example. And they're basically just big cardboard tubes that come in different diameters. So you can then put one of these cardboard tubes down and cut it to the height that you want your table, and then mix a bag of concrete and just dump it in here and smooth off the top so it's flat, and then let it dry. And once it's dry, you just cut with a utility knife, cut the sonotube away. It's a big, thick piece of cardboard cylinder. You just cut that away, and you've got your formed cylinder of cement.
Neat.
And then that can have either a wood tabletop on it, or it can just be the cement that you've made nice and smooth on top to just be like a cylinder side table. That's a pretty cool thing.
And if you did go with the wooden thing on top, it's fun, because now it's a planter where you could, there's a little hole on top, and you can put like some peat moss and maybe even some perlite, and then with some soil and put some flowers of the season in there.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's a great idea, yeah.
One of my other favorite side table ideas we saw at the Showcase House in Pasadena, California, and it was basically where you buy a planter. Let's say it's a cement decorative planter, and then what you do in it, it's a horizontal kind of a rectangular shape, and then now this is going to be where you're going to put some plants, but then your table part is a piece of glass that you have the glass company cut, and a really thick piece of glass, and you have them cut. So it's a rectangular piece of glass that sits over this rectangular planter, and you have them cut a rectangular hole right in the center.
Great.
And so now that sits on top of the planter, but you can put plants, so then the plants come bursting through the glass.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
That's great. Side tables. This is side table mania.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
What about turning some spheres that you might have? You might even have some of those grapevine balls that are sitting around from maybe Christmas time or the holidays, and you put some string lights around it. It kind of gives it a mystical feel, because now they're just hanging little flying balls like firefly lights. And you can find, in fact, in the arts and crafts stores, they still sell metal versions of these balls. You know what I mean? They're often used for topiaries.
Sure.
So,
and you train plants
and you train ivy to come up and through, and then come through this little metal ball, right? Well, now instead you would take that ball and get several of them, and whether it's made out of twine or metal, and then just string. You can get some of these battery operated little twinkling lights, and then hang them in a tree, and it's really festive and cute.
Pretty.
Very simple.
Yeah.
And it looks expensive, and no electric required.
Now, have you ever done the outdoor shower?
I never have, but it sure looks like it's something, it makes you feel like you're on vacation.
Yeah, and it's just a couple of panels of the galvanized, sheet metal roofing material that you build a 2x4 out of redwood frame and then hinge it so it just becomes a little corner. And then you're just running your shower pipe up with a shower head coming down. You've got some privacy. It's a great way to sort of shower off after the pool. And, you don't need a drain. It'll just sort of gray water out into the lawn right around you.
Fun.
Yeah.
And now you did it all your own.
Yeah.
Love it. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, we're just getting started. We have more fun ways to help you improve your home and improve your life.